Your brain is actively lying to you. That feeling that you are not ready yet for that project or that dream or that life is not wisdom. It is not intuition. It's not waiting for alignment. It's a dark survival script that will keep you stuck in a paralysis that will diminish you and your potential and keep you average for the rest of your life. Now let's break you out of it. There is a dark survival script that keeps human beings trapped inside hesitation for years. A psychological paralysis that slowly diminishes potential until extraordinary people become average simply because they never began. And the terrifying part of this is the script feels intelligent. It sounds reasonable. The script is, I will start when I look better, when I have more time, when I have more confidence, when I have more money, when I have moved to that city, when I have more clarity, when I get married, when I get divorced, when most of the time becomes never. Because that script, that voice in your head is not protecting your future, it's protecting your comfort. And if you never learn to recognize the difference, you will lose decades of your life waiting to feel ready for a life that only reveals itself through movement. You'll start when? Tomorrow? Tomorrow is an illusion. There is no tomorrow. The human brain prefers familiar suffering. One of the biggest lies people believe is that human beings naturally seek happiness. Nope, not true. The brain primarily seeks familiarity and safety, even when familiarity is painful. This is why people stay in dead relationships, in limiting environments, inside self-sabotaging habits, inside unlived lives, because uncertainty feels like an attack on the nervous system. And starting something new creates uncertainty. But here's the flip side. The brain primarily seeks familiarity and safety, even when familiarity is painful. Which is also why the people who stay consistent going to the gym cannot seem to stop, no matter how painful it is. Why? Because the brain primarily seeks familiarity and safety. And when you do something consistently over time, your brain gets familiar with it and seeks it whether you like it or not. So the brain will work according to whatever you consistently give it to work with, be it good or bad. Starting anything new creates uncertainty. A new career, a new identity, a new body, a new dream, a new life. The moment you attempt transformation, your nervous system often interprets expansion as a threat. Not because your dream is wrong or should be delayed, but because your brain evolves to prioritize survival over self-actualization. And survival prefers predictability. That's the trap. People think, if I feel afraid, maybe I should not do it. No, sometimes fear is simply evidence that your current identity is being challenged. What have you kept postponing for years because you keep telling yourself you're not ready yet? The feeling of readiness is mostly a myth. This realization changed my life. Readiness usually comes after movement, not before it. People imagine that confidence arrives first, then action follows. But psychologically, the opposite is often true. Action creates evidence. Evidence creates confidence. Confidence reinforces identity. That's how transformation actually works. A writer becomes confident by writing. An athlete becomes confident by training. A creator becomes confident by creating, not by endless preparations. Momentum meets you after takeoff. Are you listening to this? Momentum meets you after what? Take off. When you push a car with a dead battery, hoping it will start, momentum meets the car while it's already in motion. No? But your mind wants guarantees before action. Your mind wants to be sure the car will take off before you push it. But life will not spoon feed you guarantees beforehand. So you wait and wait and wait, and 6 months have gone by. 3 years have gone by. A decade will soon go by while you're mistaking hesitation for wisdom, for alignment. You're waiting for a sign. This is your sign. Move now. The paralysis of overthinking. Overthinking feels productive. That's why it's dangerous for you. It gives you the illusion of engagement without the vulnerability of action. A person can spend years researching, planning, visualizing, preparing, consuming advice without ever truly beginning. And because they are mentally occupied, they convince themselves that they are progressing. But mentally orbiting a dream is not the same thing as building it. At some point, thinking becomes avoidance disguised as intelligence. Because action exposes people to failure, judgment, uncertainty, imperfection. Overthinking protects the ego from all of that, but it also protects you from growth. Your brain wants to conserve energy. Human beings underestimate how biological procrastination can be. The brain is constantly trying to conserve its energy. New actions require mental energy, emotional energy, decision making, adaptation. So the mind naturally gravitates towards familiar habits, easy stimulation, predictable routines, because it is trying to conserve its energy. And that's why scrolling feels easier than creating. Fantasizing feels easier than building. Talking about dreams feels easier than risking them. Your brain loves efficiency, but growth is inefficient initially. Learning is awkward. Beginning is messy. Transformation is uncomfortable, which means if you wait for your brain to enthusiastically approve every meaningful change, you will be stuck in that psychological trap of waiting until you die. What dream of yours have you turned into endless planning instead of real movement? This is the dark comfort of potential. Potential can become addictive because unrealized potential is safe. As long as the dream remains untested, you never have to confront it. Whether you can truly do it, whether you might fail, whether people might reject it, whether you'll be laughed at and scorned. So many people unconsciously remain attached to the fantasy version of their future instead of risking the imperfect reality of building it. But eventually, your life will only change through execution, not imagination. At some point, potential becomes your prison if potential never becomes behavior. Failure isn't the real fear. Most people think they fear failure. Not entirely. Many people actually fear identity disruption, discovering they are ordinary, humiliation, being seen trying, because beginning something publicly threatens your ego, especially if a person builds their identity around being smart, gifted, or full of potential. Once action begins, reality has begun. Now mistakes happen publicly. Growth is visible. Imperfection is unavoidable. And the ego hates that vulnerability. So the brain invents sophisticated excuses. It's not the right time. I need more preparation. I'm still figuring things out. But many times the deeper truth simply is, I'm afraid to begin imperfectly. I'm afraid to see my own imperfections, let alone let others see them. The people who change their lives fastest and most profoundly are rarely the people with the most certainty. Often, they are the people most willing to move while uncertain, to begin while uncomfortable, to create before feeling fully qualified, because movement teaches what hesitation never will. Action generates feedback. Feedback creates growth. Growth creates capability. And eventually, the person becomes stronger through the process itself. Most confidence is earned retroactively, not beforehand. Confidence is earned while you're doing the damn thing. Your identity is a real battle. This goes deeper than motivation. The real issue is identity, because people behave according to who they believe they are. If someone unconsciously identifies as inconsistent, unworthy, incapable, undisciplined, their behavior eventually reflects that identity. That's why temporary motivation rarely changes lives long term, because identity pulls behavior back toward familiarity. So transformation requires new behaviors, yes, but also new self-concepts. You must begin seeing yourself as someone capable of movement, someone capable of learning, capable of failing, of adapting, of continuing, of moving, someone capable of moving. Perfectionism is often fair in elegant clothing. Perfectionism sounds noble, but many times it is fair disguised as standards. Perfectionists often delay action because imperfection threatens their very precious self image, so they obsess over timing, details, presentation, conditions, and meanwhile, people with less talent but more willingness to begin imperfectly move ahead of them. Because momentum matters more than perfection. A messy beginning creates progress. An imagined perfect beginning creates paralysis. The life that only exists after beginning. There is an entire version of your life that cannot reveal itself to you until you move. Oh, listen to that again. There is an entire version of your life that cannot reveal itself to you until you what? Move. New opportunities, new people, new abilities, new confidence, new identity. But hesitation blocks access to all of it. Life responds to movement, not endless internal negotiation. You do not become ready first, then begin. Very often, you become ready through beginning. You become ready through doing the damn thing. That's one of the biggest paradoxes of life. So, yes, your brain is lying to you sometimes. Not maliciously, though, protectively. It confuses familiarity with safety, and it would rather keep you comfortably trapped than uncertain and expanding. But if you obey that survival script forever, you risk becoming a spectator in your own life, watching other people build, create, risk, evolve, while you remain psychologically frozen, waiting for a feeling that I can almost guarantee you will never come. And that's the tragedy. Not failure, but your unlived potential. A life endlessly postponed because your fear just learned how to sound intelligent. The goal is not to feel fully ready. The goal is to move anyway, with your messiness, your imperfections, your uncertainty, your ugliness. Move anyway. Because movement creates momentum. Momentum creates evidence. and evidence creates identity. And this is what will change your life, one brave beginning at a time. It has been my pleasure, as always, to sit with you. This has been the Human Mirror. Look closely, you are never invisible. I'll see you in the next reflection.